some sad news about the Judd family. We know what happened now to Naomi Judd, who died just days ago. Ashley Judd went on Good Morning America Thursday morning and said her family agreed that they could share what happened. And pretty much all she said was Naomi used a firearm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, she and her sister Winona announced on April 30th that they'd lost their mother, quote, to the disease of mental illness. She was 76. And Ashley said she and her family wanted to shed light on mental illness, explaining that it's important to make the distinction between loved ones and their disease.
That's the day before the induction into the country
yes,
Hall of Fame.
It
was
a
tough press tour.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Ashley said that, she said that the family reluctantly shared the cause of death because it was going to come out anyway. They might as well be the ones. She also revealed that she was the one who discovered her mother.
Ugh.
And her mother had been outspoken about her battle with depression. And like you said, Naomi died the day before she and Winona were inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. She just couldn't do it. Couldn't hang on.
So you got to think it's not a coincidence that it was the day before.
Yeah.
These accolades brought it on.
The spotlight.
The attention?
Yeah.
But
dude, she loves attention, right?
It seems so weird. First off, just killing yourself. I haven't looked at the chart, but if you don't kill yourself by the time you're 25, it normally just is a steep decline. Like people don't kill themselves in their 70s. You're distraught over a relationship when you're 19. A lot of guys kill themselves. Women, not as much. They don't use guns that much. They don't do it in their 70s.
No.
They rarely ever do it before an induction into the Country Hall of Fame.
Almost never.
She is
That's
literally
aggressive.
the only person that's ever been in this category. She's an outlier. So then you go, all right, it was being not the induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame. It had to be that. But then, and I get depression, but a lot of people who are depressed are not depressed when they're winning in Vegas or something, or
It's a
accepting
weird time to do it.
an award. It's like the athlete who's used to having the fans cheer him on. He kills himself after he retires when it's quiet and he's alone in his apartment.
He's not going to do it before a Hall of Fame induction.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be a weird time to do it.
That's a weird time to do it. So we brought up Junior Seau.
Didn't he shoot himself in the chest right before?
He did. And he shot himself in the chest so they could study his brain because he
saying.
knew his CT. He did at the time. They didn't know exactly what it was, but he shot himself in the chest and goes on the note was like, "Study my brain, man, because I'm not wired the same. It's not good."
But my recollection is it was shortly before his Hall of Fame induction, and his kids lobbied to speak, and the canon was wishy-washy on it.
The kid, you say
The
that?
kids lobbied to speak on his behalf.
Cat.
Well,
Cat,
that would be interesting
In
to
Kansas,
figure out how
NFL
long.
Fame.
I know he killed himself like along a road in San Diego or something.
No, he tried it before in San Diego, but to me that was an attempt for help, saying I'm not doing well because he drove like his whatever Escalade off the side of PCH, but it's like 4 feet, dude. Like,
Right.
What are you doing? And then he did the real McCoy, like 4 weeks later. So that first one I think was a cry for help.
Yeah, I don't know how long
such a shame.
before, and I don't know. I mean, he's a first ballot guy for sure.
Oh, 100%.
So it's 5 years after you retire, I think, in the NFL. So I don't know if he killed
We
himself.
can check the timeline.
4.5 years after, whatever. But
It was definitely after. He got inducted for sure.
he got inducted.
I'm pretty sure,
Oh,
yeah.
all right. Well, now we'll look.
My
So
recollection is that his kids wanted to speak on his behalf, and Pro Football Hall of Fame was being very touchy about it, because they were afraid they were going to talk shit about the NFL.
Well, NFL doesn't want to touch concussions, and UFC especially doesn't want to touch concussions. Like no one wants to talk about it,
So this is brought on through a general depression, which then peaked with the Hall of Fame induction.
That's the timeline.
It just seems such an insane way to do it.
Poor lady if she was suffering that bad.
Oh, yeah. And I have no clue. Totally speculation. I'm wondering if, they keep talking about mental illness, if that was an umbrella for depression and
bipolar.
Exactly. Or schizophrenia or something. But we don't know.
The depression thing's tough because especially when I was a kid growing up, no one really talked about it.
No.
And then now there's like in the NBA, they want to have, brain health days. Like Kyrie Irving will miss weeks because he doesn't feel like playing basketball. So it's a little dicey, it's dicey.
Got to swing it back the other way a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Junior died in 2012. Posthumous Hall of Fame 2015. But
so significantly before.
when did he retire? When was he eligible?
Obviously 2010.
No, 20.
Well, I guess.
Or
it's a
2008.
5-year.
Yeah, it's 5 years.
Oh, and you're saying he got it in 2000.
I'm saying he would have gone on the first ballot.
Yeah,
so he
the
would have
5-year
was in
math.
2010.
There you go.
But we can look it up. Yeah, the real
2010.
tragedy. What's that?
2010, yeah.
The real tragedy was when he went to the Patriots and they went 18-0, and
He was chasing his first
they were
ring.
just going to win the Super Bowl.
Dude, he was my favorite player. And then after he passed, I was in the UFC and I'm taking a piss in the urinal in the locker room after a fight that I had won. And his son, who I don't know, was next to me. And we start talking. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, my dad was a Junior Seau." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Dude, that was my favorite player." And he's like, "My dad was a fan, man." I started crying.
Wow.
I started crying, yeah. Yep.
Well, I heard this story a while ago. I can't remember what he did it on, but Moby was on some podcast talking about when he thought about killing himself. And it was, I might be getting some of the details wrong, but he's in the best penthouse, maybe in Paris for like the European MTV Awards. And like he was on top of his game, highly celebrated, like, whatever, penthouse, and just thinking like, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, is this it? Is this all there is? And he thought about jumping out the window. And I don't know if there's any correlation there of like, this is as far as I go. This doesn't make me happy like I thought it would.
Yeah, like this is the top of the mountain.
Right.
This is what I've been working for.
And I feel
this
so
is
fucking
it?
empty. Yeah.
I have nothing else to do.
Look, the one good thing about being poor, listen up, losers.
Let me grab
The
a
one
pen.
good thing about it is you do think things are going to change significantly if you ever had enough money to get a new car with air conditioning and have your own condo, and imagine being able to eat out more than once a month, like weird stuff like
Vacations,
that. You hang a lot of it on that. And at a certain point, you do get the car, you do get the house, you do go out to dinner, and you realize you essentially feel the same. And there's a thing that if you can just keep looking off into the horizon, go, if only I had that, then I would feel much happier, much better, much differently about myself. There's a part of that where there is some comfort for those who never really achieve that, because it's always the next one, and it's always out there. You get money, you get stuff, you get cars, you get whatever, and you just kind of realize, the
wiring's the same.
You're still
Wiring's
stuck
the
with
same.
you.
Yeah,
Do you suffer from any of that, Adam? Any
No,
depression or anything?
I don't. I just feel the same as I always did.
Me too.
What you do is really, you go from worrying about money to not really worrying about money. Although you think about money more, you just don't worry about it. And you basically go from, I've said, I'd get a parking ticket for $34, week ruin, devastation.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
Adam
also
said-
a lot of granular shit,
Yeah.
too. Like, we went out to dinner. The guy gets 3 Heinekens. I get
Yeah.
a fucking iced tea.
Yeah.
And we whack it up. So we each pay $22, but he had fucking 3 Heinekens?
Yeah.
You guys remember going to the restaurant, any restaurant, like, boy, I really want the fill in the blank,
Yes.
the ham, but it's $2 more than the chicken.
Yeah.
So I guess I got the chicken.
Well, and Adam said before, nothing is more expensive than being poor. Because
Yes.
when you get a ticket and like, oh shit, now I have to take off of work to go fight this ticket.
You're
and I
not
don't
counting on some
I
curveballs.
only got parking tickets when I was poor, because
Fair
you
point.
lived in some shitty apartment building. You didn't have parking.
Street
You'd
cleaning.
come home, fucking street cleaning,
Yep.
which magically was 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
So rude.
everywhere. I feel the same way about garbage collection. It can't be 6 a.m. everywhere all the
Agreed.
time. Somewhere it's got to be 4 in the afternoon. Isn't there a place where the street is cleaned at noon somewhere, and then you fucking forgot about it? The most devastating poor street cleaner person story is I told you about my A&B carpet cleaning boss, Art Fuss. Art Fuss lived in a condo in like Van Nuys, and we would have to go out and clean carpets all night because you can't clean a restaurant when it's open. So you'd have to go clean, whether it was a Sizzler,
After
Conley
hours,
Kitchen,
yeah.
Hamburger Hamlet in Westwood, like wherever. You would show up at 11, and the manager would give you the keys because he didn't want to come back and meet you at 4 a.m. when you were done, and he would tell you, lock it up, throw the keys through the mail slot.
You for
That's
sure
how it
cleaned
worked.
the Hamburger Hamlet after Christy ate there one night. They ate there all the time.
Oh, really?
Well, shoot, you graduated high school in 97, so do the math.
So we cleaned all the greasy spoons and shitholes and everything. But so now you would be driving home from the Hamburger Hamlet in Westwood or wherever we were,
Westwood.
and we'd be heading back. There was another one that was around
There was one
on
in
the
Sherman
west
Oaks.
side. We didn't do that one. We did the far away. Anyway,
There's one in Beverly Hills, like the Flatlands.
there was one there too. Yeah. Anyway, we drive back. We're done cleaning. You clean from 10:30, 11 at night, whenever the closing time is, to however long it takes you, which is 3:30, 4 in the morning on a Tuesday or whatever. You get back in the van. You drive it back over the hill. Now we would get $6 or $7 an hour, but only while we were cleaning.
Right.
So it wasn't for like the whole night. So when we got to the Hamburger Hamlet, to when we left the Hamburger Hamlet, which is probably illegal. So we would get $7 an hour times 3.5 hours.
Jesus
3.5
Christ.
hours, and like $24 or something. We'd come back to Van Nuys, be 4:15 in the morning. There's no place to park, but it's always like, oh, the other side of the street is wide open.
No stopping 3 to 5. or
Right.
whatever it
We'd
was.
go park and then get in our motorcycle or beat up car or whatever and drive back or, go to bed at 5 a.m. Then, on Friday when Art was cutting checks, he'd be like, well, I had 22 hours this week. And it's like, you got the parking ticket over the Hamburger Hamlet night. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, you parked on the street cleaner side, so it's a
God,
no parking
dog.
side. So I just backed out the $32.
He's gotta
from
eat that.
From the
Yeah, that's
whatever,
on
and
you,
I was
That's
like,
boy.
insane.
no. So whatever you made that night, you ended up owing
You're
$7.
an indentured servant.
Yes.
You
yes.
got to work off that ticket.
So when you're poor, you don't have places to park.
Right.
That's the bottom line, yeah.
Just parking you don't have. Now I have a driveway and a garage, and I'll never get a ticket.
Different
I'll never
animal.
get towed. I've gotten everything towed. When I got my motorcycle, my friend's motorcycle towed from Century Cities because I was poor. What they said is you can park underneath the parking structure in Century City, but it's $18 a day. I was like, fuck that. I got a motorcycle. I'll just park it over here in the corner. Got towed. Yeah.
I remember when I was broke, I remember I couldn't wait to take this girl out. And I kept asking her, and finally she's like, all right, let's do it. And we go to the Cheesecake Factory at Park Meadows Mall, which is in Denver. Yeah, I remember we go there, and I'm going to say I had $40. I remember
Yeah.
my dad gave me like $40.
It ain't free
I was
over
in
there.
college,
Yeah.
man. You didn't have money. It's not free. I remember like around $40, and the lady comes, you want to know the specials? My head, I'm like, specials? It's fucking Cheesecake Factory specials. She said steak and lobster. I remember the girl going, ooh, that sounds good. I'll have that. I'm like, unreal, man.
What a bitch.
Unfreaking real.
No, I don't like that.
I had like a cup
She
of
knows better.
soup.
Yeah.
I'm like, who does that?
That's not cool.
Who
I don't
does
like
she
that.
does that?
Factory. You got to order dessert too.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
like,
you have to get
required.
cheesecake.
Factory.
Yeah, she had a great time. I was starving.
You don't order MP with a college student. You don't go market price.
And she was older.
I don't like
but
that.
also cheesecake specials? Who are you? That's why I came here.
First off, their menu has 177 items on it.
Yeah.
Do we need 3
Find
more?
something.
Yeah, you find something, and then that was the other poor person thing, which is when you could go out, it was like appetizers, or we could get a glass of wine.
That's right.
When you don't get a drink, you don't get a
No.
cocktail and an appetizer. That's way too
Yeah.
fucking
What are you,
much.
Mr.
Yeah.
Monopoly?
So when you
Yeah.
make money, you stop fucking fretting over that. But your general baseline happiness, satisfaction, what have you, remains the same. Although you do get a bump from accomplishing shit that made you the money. So you get to go, well, I wrote a book, or I made a movie, or I
Right.
did a stand-up special or whatever, and you go, well, that feels good.
Yeah.
I'll keep that.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about this because it's a soccer story, but I think it's the one soccer story on the planet you might actually be tickled by. this French soccer club, Lyon, I'm assuming it's Lyon, Lyon, has demoted their veteran fullback, Marcelo, to its reserve team earlier this season. And the decision had a lot of people wondering, like, what the fuck? Like, this is our guy. Well, according to multiple reports, now we know why he was demoted. The 34-year-old Brazilian was dropped from the big leagues because of repeated instances of farting in the locker room.
Now, that's funny.
Yeah. Per ESPN, Marcelo was laughing during a speech when the captain made it. He was trying to, rouse everybody up before they started. And then he was accused of continuous farting in front of the team's manager and sports director.
This guy's fantastic.
Yeah. He was considered one of the leaders of the team. He'd signed a new contract a few months before. How did they get out of that? There was like an inappropriate behavior clause that they used.
That's insane.
You know that Jimmy, when he did, I got to ask Jimmy about this, but when he did Win Ben Stein's Money, he had a guy who was one of the camera guys who was like a clinical farter.
Oh, like medically?
This wasn't a, pull my finger.
Right.
This is
You just
all
couldn't
fun
stop.
and games. Like he farted medically.
Oh, boy.
And
Single.
and it was like at a certain point, it's a condition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's no hobby.
You got a problem.
It's a serious
You're
thing.
no longer dabbling.
It's a difference,
You're a
between
pro.
like you got a tummy ache or you got Crohn's.
Right.
You know what I mean? This guy had.
He might have had a parking placard.
Special parking.
Yeah.
Go to Costco to power himself on that cart. He'd stand on the cart, fart, and blow himself in right by the greeter.
That poor guy. What do you do? What do you do?
He was powered like the Jetsons mobile. Like,
You heard about that?
you know what he
Brazilian
did?
girl? What?
He had a fucking sign. Right into the Costco. Just put the feet on the roller,
The brown
on the cart.
placard.
You hear
He
about
had
that?
a sign, like in soccer when you get a yellow card or whatever.
Let everybody know.
And he worked the camera, and he was like, okay, farted.
There we go.
Like, hold this thing up.
We're gonna be cool.
People knew.
What'd the sign say? Or was
I
it
don't
just
think
like
it had to say anything.
like a silent auction fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's hanging in the window of the Moyles office. You know what I mean? Nothing. We know who he
we
is.
got it.
He's a Moyle, right?
Wow.
Once it was understood that when this guy raised the sign,
back up.
you
It was
backed
on, yeah.
out, then people knew.
There was a girl recently. It was one of the current events on our show where she was this beautiful like IG model, and she had this new boyfriend. I think he was a professional soccer player, and she held her farts in around him, even though they're on a boat. It's like, figure it out, man.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Use the silencer on the, you'll figure it out.
honk the horn.
So yeah,
Turn the Caribbean into a jacuzzi.
Yeah, we're talking. Use the bubbles, girl. Get in the hot tub. So she held her farts, and then held it for so long she had to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Like, it got so bad. It's like, what are you? I mean, come on, man.
Like distended belly and the whole vibe.
And also,
Which was more embarrassing.
you
Sure.
got the soccer player. She's a model. You want to have sex out on the yacht, but you can't get plowed when you're holding one back.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Mission
Impossible.
impossible.
Virtually
Mission
impossible.
Yeah, that will
It's
knock
science.
it. That will knock it loose.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're all of the understanding, hypothetically, that that's forgivable and we don't speak of that again, yes?
The fart during coitus.
Well, if you're like packing air.
But we don't really even know what that was.
Oh.
I pretend it
Because
never
there's
happened.
Got it.
queefs and then there's farts.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I
I
blame
wasn't,
it on-
I wasn't distinguishing.
No, I blame it on CT.
Right.
Yeah.
CT flared up. I don't know what you're talking about.
That guy from the Fifth Ward who used his hog like a microphone.
He definitely ain't here. He's
He'll
so far
knock
away.
a fart out of a chick who's in the next room.
Yeah.
His dick is so big.
The visitors' locker room.
That's
You
right.
can't hear anything.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina.
Very
Grad.
bring it
good.
home.
I'm
Sorry,
Gina
guys.
Grad,
It's
and
got
that's the
raunchy.
news.
You need to figure out a way to get paid for beating off.
Gina That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, last but not least, there's Geico. Save a little money on your auto insurance. Who doesn't love a deal? That's where Geico comes in. Such a deal. Truck, motorcycle, boat, RV, homeowners, condos, renters, coverage even as well. They got special discounts when you bundle, and it's easy to use. They got a mobile app. You go to geico.com, you get that mobile app, and you get 24-hour roadside assistance when you switch to Geico. So switch today and see just how much you could be saving when you make the switch to Geico. Brendan is going to be, well, the stand-up special is called The Gringo Poppy, and that is out as we speak on YouTube. Bite size, like what, 25 minutes long or so?
26 minutes.
right in there. Helium coming up in Philly, as mentioned.
Next week, next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Helium in Philadelphia.
Then Los Angeles, Hollywood Improv, May 25th. Portland, Helium, good club out there.
Great club.
That's June 9th through the 11th. Huntington Beach, we're going to be out at Sea Lakes doing shows May 20th. And then I'm going to be out in Denver at the Comedy Works. What am I looking at? Yeah, Comedy Works.
One of the best clubs.
Yeah, South,
Wendy. Shout
I
out to
think
Wendy.
it is. And that'll be June 24th and 25th. So, till next time, it's Adam Carolla for Brendan Schaub, Gina Grad, and Paul Bryant. Say it. Mahalo.
If anybody ever travels outside of the U.S. and you go to the Middle East or you go to Mexico, anywhere, if you go into a kind of a bazaar type place, please, Americans, just
Respectfully
they
haggle.
expect it.
Yes,
But
yes.
then you do the math. By the way, you do the math in your head sometimes. You're like, wait a minute, the dollar to the peso. Wait a minute, I'm negotiating over 33 cents.